Welcome to the Nutrition Challenge Kickoff, guys. First thing, I'm going to start with a few questions for the group. How many of you have ever done a nutrition challenge or weight loss challenge before? Just Jay? Nobody else? Okay. Yeah, Kelsey, have you? Yeah? Awesome. Jay, Kelsey, did either of you lose weight during that challenge? Is that the goal? No? Yeah, you guys are like the two worst people I could have asked that question to. Knowing both of your history. That's good. That's the other half of the coin. So one problem that can happen with nutrition challenges, and this is something that happened with us in the past, is you get people that get really excited about like 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and they're like, I'm gonna do everything the challenge says that to do, and you're gonna give me a diet plan, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, and they have all these grand expectations, and they'll lose a bunch of weight, and then at the end of the 4 weeks or the end of the 6 weeks, gain it all back because you just stopped doing all the things that you did in the challenge. And that kind of comes with calling something a challenge. People think of it as this short-term thing. I would encourage you guys to look at this as a starting point. This is a kickstart for a reason, right? So the goal here is to develop some basics and some baselines to get you started off in the right direction. And we actually would strongly encourage you guys to move into continued nutrition coaching rather than just being like, cool, I did my 4 weeks, I lost my 5 pounds. I'm ready to keep going this on my own, because there's so much more that can happen one-on-one with a coach than what's going to happen in this 4 weeks. And these 4 weeks are gonna be awesome. We're gonna cover a lot of low-hanging fruit. We're gonna build a bunch of baseline stuff that will support you moving forward for the rest of the year, but definitely wanna encourage you to consider continuing to move forward with this. All right. So we partnered this last year with HSN to level up our nutrition program overall. Part of that being better communication, all right, better tracking tools. So they provide us an app and support from a team of RDs, and we provide the coaching component. So we like to utilize a holistic approach to help you reach your goals, and we're here to support you in all aspects of your life, not just nutrition and fitness. It's very easy to overlook the effect that all of these other things have on our goals. So, for example, Kelsey and I just met, we talked about some of this stuff, but if my sleep is all over the place, probably not gonna wake up at a very consistent time, and that may directly impact my ability to have a protein-packed breakfast in the morning to get my day started off in the right direction. Sometimes the thing that we need to focus on to get our nutrition back on track or our fitness back on track is not that directly, but it's correcting the sleep issue. Sometimes it's correcting the stress management issue. Overeating can be a coping mechanism for stress, right? I think we can all relate to that at some point. You know, that pint of ice cream looks real good when work stress is high, right? So taking a holistic approach is really important to actually achieve our health and wellness goals overall. Does that make sense? Sweet. Alrighty. So, objective of this kickoff seminar, help you understand how to set yourself up for success during the nutrition challenge. 2, find out where you need to start with first, so help you understand what the best next step is. And then 3, learn how to utilize the tools you have to support you on the journey forward. So make sure that you guys understand basically how to use that HSM app to the best of its ability and how to leverage us as coaches when we're working with you, okay? All right, so first off, I'd like everyone to do a little self-assessment. So let's think about and answer these questions. What does success look like to you? Go ahead and bring that up in your own mind, and I'll call up on a couple of you. We just talked about this, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a little example from you, Kelsey. What does success look like for you in this challenge?
Eating breakfast consistently.
Cool. Why is that the thing that you're working on?
Under eating in general, and then that makes me feel bad just overall, but also perform not optimally. So if I
Sure.
keep getting a solid breakfast, that sets me up for the rest of the day.
Yeah, so we talked about performance not just being about numbers in the gym, but how I feel at work, how I manage my stress at work, right? Maddie, what's success look like for you in this challenge?
Yeah, for me, the main reason I started this
Yeah.
And
Big deal.
there is no hiding, oh, thank you.
Yes.
There's no hiding my stomach in my dress. I have a lot there, but the little that I have,
Sure.
you can see it, and so
Those wedding dresses don't give you any wiggle room.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my goal is to have a flat stomach by November.
Cool.
So I have plenty of time, but yeah,
Absolutely.
talking to Leandra about just getting in some healthy habits, so
Yeah.
also not doing something that's short term and traumatizing to my body that then
Yeah.
I can't sustain.
Right. Oh yeah, because that post-wedding feel is like, all that wedding stress is gone. I can just do whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole lot better if you can roll out of that and be like, this is all just normal stuff for me now. Cool. I like that. Sai?
Losing weight.
Yeah. Cool. Just general, broad, losing weight. You've already lost a good bit though so far, right? So it's making sure the nutrition matches up with the exercise component. Very cool. Great work, by the way, man. It's awesome. Very cool. Jay, how about you?
I think healthy habits and losing weight.
Okay. All right. Did you guys set a specific goal around that?
Give me 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah? No?
Set a,
Justin's over here like, we did. Yeah.
I want to lose 4 inches around the waist. So
Okay.
that is.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. I have a feeling you're going to get a. Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to get a message from Justin a little later today, clarifying that. Carly?
I actually it's kind of similar to Kelsey. So doing more consistency with my schedule, waking up, make sure
Cool.
I have time to eat breakfast before I get to work. Because if I don't eat breakfast
Nice.
before I get to work, I'm not.
So that holistic approach totally makes sense, right? It's amazing how when you're hyper focused on one thing, it's so easy just to like put all the weight on the food, right? And it's like,
I feel better when I wake up an hour or two
yeah,
before work,
yeah,
and then instead of rolling out of bed.
ties into that stress management, ties into all the different stuff. So that's cool, guys. Awesome. So we already kind of addressed that you guys, really just two of us have done a challenge in the past, but have any of you done any other form of like nutrition coaching in the past with anybody else? Yeah? Okay. So what are some things that have worked well for you guys in the past? Like, go ahead, Kelsey.
I don't know if any of them worked out.
Worked, okay. So you can probably tell the flip side, yeah. Right, the super extreme, like kind of we talked. Did you ever do RP? Like actually do RP? Okay, yeah. So the thing a lot of people throw our way with nutrition coaching, and I know Justin was like over there nodding his head, is you just give me a meal plan, and it's like I could, and I mean I've given people meal plans way back in the day. Like I've been doing personal training and nutrition coaching with people since I was 19. I'm 35, long time, creeping up on 2 decades slowly. But I used to do that, and it works until it really does not work. People hit a brick wall, and they're like, I cannot do this. This is crazy. This is blah, 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 blah. It backslides very quickly, and it becomes very stressful, and it can be really traumatic. Like, you start to be like, I don't even want to touch nutrition because it's too complicated. It's too hard, right? And that's because any time that you try to skip to the last step of a progression of things, it's like, I want to learn calculus, but I don't know addition and subtraction yet. It's like, I'm just going to buy a calculus book and start studying that until I know it. It's not going to work. You have to learn the basics. These things build on themselves, right? It's just like being in the gym, learning how to do a clean for the first time or how to do a squat for the first time if you've never done it before, right? You have to learn the basics first. And over time with consistency, they become natural. It's just something that you do. It's habitual, right? That's the way that nutrition has to be as well. And that's the way that this is set up to do. So that's cool. I love that perspective. Anybody else have anything that like has actually worked well for them in the past?
I lost weight at one time, but I can't remember how I did.
Sure, okay. Well, so hopefully some of that was habitual, right? Like some things that you actually continued to do. That can be something along the lines of like, I used to go through drive-thrus all the time for lunch, and now I actually plan and prep my lunch, and imagine that there's 500 calories less in my prepped food than there is in the drive-through food, right? And that just became a habit that you got used to, and now you don't worry about it anymore, right? Cool. All right. Yeah.
I know one of the coaches is surprisingly more
Bias. Yeah.
I did the same. I tried a service that just gave me a meal plan. Literally sent me a spreadsheet. It was like, here's what your day's gonna look like. Didn't work at all. When I got my first nutrition coach, yes, because of my goals specifically, we were still in that realm of like trying to dial in on calories and macros. But the way she approached it, what's made the difference for me was taking it one step at a time. Like, what is one thing you can nail and focus on? Clean that up in service of all these other things you're going to do, and then it can constantly evolve to the next step, to the next step. So just focusing on smaller bits, getting to know yourself, just like we're trying to get to know you,
Yeah.
like as an individual, and all the reasons why things have come up, or you want to work on this, you want to work on that, and then again, one step at a time, taking small bites.
Then it sticks, and it's just part of what you do. And that's where we don't wind up with the same goals every single year, right? Because we actually start achieving them. All right, very cool. All right, so you guys already set goals in your initial meeting. We've actually already talked about quite a few of them. Just a reminder that when we set goals, we want to use SMART goals. I'm sure how many of you guys have done SMART goals at some point in the past? This got pounded into my brain in college, right? In weird classes that I don't feel like this fit with, but still. But specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So specific examples of that is like 1.5 inches down the waist in 3 months. It's important to understand like what a realistic timeline is for things like weight loss, right? Pound to 2 pounds a week is about as fast as you want to go with weight loss. You go much faster than that, it tends to be very unsustainable. Usually that means you're making extreme cuts, things that are gonna potentially come back to bite you down the line. Yeah, Leandro's back there like, yeah. I mean, it can create considerable health problems. You've ever heard of the yo-yo dieting term? Okay, well that what it does to your immune system when you're constantly going up and down with big swings of weight is disastrous. It can cause, Leandro could list a laundry list, I'm sure, of things it can cause, but it can contribute to diabetes, it can contribute to all kinds of major health risks. Not to mention just the stress that's consistently putting on your body. So understanding that 1 to 2 pounds a week is a reasonable expectation, now you can start to set a timeline for how long it would take to get to where you want to be and actually keep it off, right? What we usually try to start people off is to expect about 1 pound a week. And if we're not hitting that pound a week, we can steer from there to get you to that. Does that sound reasonable? Cool. All right, so Leandro, do you mind grabbing, or Justin, you know where these are better. Can you grab the whiteboards and markers and hand them out to everybody real quick? So we're gonna take about 3 minutes, and I would like for you guys to list out what your short and long-term goals are. I know you guys already did this with your coach, but I wanna actually kind of have you guys share with some buddies on what your goals are. Perks of doing a challenge like this and being in a group is we get a little bit of extra accountability. And since you guys came together, I'll let you guys go ahead and do that together. Kelsey, I'll go to put you with Carly. Jay, I'll put you with Cy, all right? But first off, I want you guys to go ahead and write out what those short-term and long-term goals were for yourselves, and then share them with your partner, okay? Because you guys are gonna see each other in the gym. You're gonna be able to, you guys are gonna see each other at home. Okay, cool. Yeah. And saying your goals to somebody else and writing them out increases the success rate of those goals considerably. When we keep goals in our head, you don't have accountability. No one's gonna be like, hey, how's it going with that? And you're gonna be like, ooh, didn't even start it. But yeah, go ahead and take that time. The easiest way to write these is to write a dumb goal first and then make it smart. Cool, so what I would like you to do is just go ahead and take a couple minutes to share them with your partner. So Jay and Cy, if you guys wanna nudge up, Carly and Kelsey, if you guys wanna nudge up. All right, nice. Before we ditch the whiteboards, take your phone, snap a picture of it, having your goals written out somewhere or somewhere you can see them on a regular basis is extremely helpful, because then you have a consistent reminder of where you're trying to go. Something you look at about 78,000 times a day is your phone screen. You can set this as your background on your phone. Doesn't have to be the one that's on like the hold screen, but it can be the one that when you actually open your phone, it's on the background. Then you can see your goals there. I would at least encourage you to take it and write it out somewhere you'd like it to be. Sometimes typing out your goals, taping them up to your bathroom mirror where you see them in the morning can be super helpful. Dry erase marker, absolutely. There's all kinds of ways to go about doing that, but having that visual reminder on a daily basis can be extremely helpful. So yeah, just make sure you have a picture of that so you don't lose it. You guys also probably have your goals written down inside the forms. We can send that to you guys later as well. But it's just a great strategy to stay engaged with your goals and remind yourself what you're trying to do. Cool? Awesome. Cool. So, basics of healthy habits. So, have any of you ever read Atomic Habits? That's like the newer one. The old one that was really cool back in the day was Charles Duhigg wrote a book called The Power of Habit. Awesome, just basically on how like our brain actually formulates habits, why habits are important versus just conscious daily thought. You have a meter. Everyone knows you have a meter, you just don't think about it. You have a meter of what you can consciously do that's out of the ordinary for yourself in one day. How many of you know very well when you're at the end of that meter? You know, because you'll be like, I just need to stop and do something else or I'm gonna explode, right? Okay, so habits are great because they operate like background processing. How many of you actually have to think that much when you're backing up your car? You don't, you just go autopilot, you back up your car, right? When you first learned how to drive, how much did you have to think about backing up your car? Yeah, okay. So that is what we're doing right now with nutrition, right? As we're trying to give you the back up your car, not think about how the car functions while you're driving, right? So one thing at a time is hugely important. Atomic Habits, if you've read that, you understand it. Giving yourself digestible, easy wins gives your brain happy chemicals. That makes it easier to keep doing the thing that you're trying to do. Chances are, if you set a very small goal that you can hit every day and achieve, you'll probably excel and go past what you actually set for yourself. And then what do? You just won times 10 instead of, potentially losing because you set this crazy long 28 thing list goal, right? Focuses on nailing that one thing and then moving to something else. So we're gonna layer our new habits onto something that you already do. That's called habit stacking. Does everyone know what habit stacking is? So if every morning at 9 a.m. I have to get on my computer to check my email, I can stack and say, hey, right before I check my email, 30 minutes before I have to check my first email, I'm gonna eat my breakfast. That is creating a stack. You're creating a sequence of things that already exist and anchoring something else to that thing. It's a fantastic strategy to start doing new things with. Instead of taking away things first, adding things first tends to be a great alternative. And I know sometimes you hear that with nutrition, you're like, why would I want to add more? It's like, well, if I were to put a giant bowl of broccoli, raw broccoli in front of you, okay, and make you eat that giant bowl of broccoli before you eat your dinner, how much dinner are you gonna eat? Okay, don't do that. Bad idea, you'll hate broccoli forever. But you can add things and have a positive outcome, all right? And add things that are actually things that you really, really need to focus on. And psychologically, it's a lot more pleasing. You feel like you're not restricting yourself when you do that. So you gotta strategically add things, but adding things is a much better place to start than just pulling away your favorite ice creams, your favorite cookies, your favorite stuff like that, okay? All right, some things to remember, real food over food products. So we're gonna encourage you guys to start looking at whole foods as much as possible. We're trying to avoid that fast food drive-through as much as possible in favor of whole foods. Going to be encouraging you guys to do a food closet or food pantry clean out. So taking a look at what you already have. What's the easiest way to avoid eating sugary refined foods? What's the easiest way to avoid it? Don't have them, don't buy them. Save it for a time when you're out eating with friends, a special occasion, whatever. But if you've got 3, 4 or 5 pints of Ginny's ice cream in your freezer, you're gonna eat them. Ask me how I know. Okay, so, all right. Progress over perfection. So we've gotta give ourselves some forgiveness here, or it's very, very difficult to make positive change, right? So our goal is to move the needle every day, not be perfect people, all right? Also, looking at food labels, very important, following the plate method. We'll get to that. All right, so nutrition is the foundation of our health and wellness. Each week we will focus on one nutrition topic. The idea is to layer each nutrition topic on top of the other, just like we talked about habit stacking. So we've got 30 minutes of daily movement that we're gonna be, these other pillars that we're gonna be talking about outside of nutrition are gonna be 30 minutes of daily movement, 7 hours of sleep at night, 10 plus minutes of stress management a day, and then having you guys actually watch the HSN videos that are in the app. They're usually never more than a minute, and these videos do build on one another. A lot of really cool information that will build up your knowledge base around this topic. Cool? All right. Pew, pew, pew. Boom. All right. So to start building your foundation, we're gonna go over the principles of top 3 principles with HSN's method. First is to add more whole foods into your diet. We talked a little bit about that. The plate method is one of the easiest ways to work on doing that and create balance in your meals. So when we look at the plate method, what we're talking about is half a plate of veggies, quarter plate of proteins, quarter plate of carbs, and then about a thumb size of fat. How many of you, when you eat your breakfast, does it look like that? That's okay. All right, lunch? Yeah? Dinner? Dinner is usually the one where most people are like, yeah, okay, that does start to look like that. That's cool. All right, so that's the plate method, and learning how to eat the plate method is one of the easiest ways to take control of your nutrition overall. If all you did was just give yourself a visual and live and die by that visual, you would be ahead of the game across the board. But again, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Usually people struggle with like, what veggies would I eat with breakfast? The more you start to play with that idea, the more you can get pretty creative. Some people look at me when I say, they're like, I don't struggle with veggies with breakfast. I eat veggies with breakfast all the time. Ladies, sorry. Kelsey, she's got it. All right, very nice. Please move, thank you. All right, next thing is to focus on balance with protein, fats, and carbs. This one, people tend to overthink a lot. They want to get into the weeds of exactly how much and when right off the bat. What we are going to point you guys to most of the time starting out is going to be right back at that plate method to get a good baseline for what you need to eat during the day. And then we're going to encourage you to actually eat consciously. Pay attention to how that makes you feel when you eat that way. Pay attention to when you're getting full and how that affects you throughout the week. So that's going to be not just every meal, but snacks that you may be planning throughout the day. So we want to have a good protein, good carb, and a good fat source in all of your meals and snacks throughout the day. All right. So protein. How many of you are super familiar with macros? Proteins, fats, carbohydrates, so-so? Okay. So I'm going to give you guys your basics. Protein, it's the builder and the building and recovery. All right, so if I want my muscles to be able to adapt to the workouts that I'm providing, protein's got to be there. If I want my body to do the normal human processes it has to do to consistently replace cells, protein's got to be there. It's the building blocks for all of that. It also is the most satiating of the macronutrients, so prioritizing protein in your meals will make you feel more full. You will not be as hungry at lunch if you get a protein-packed breakfast. The days you miss breakfast, lunch gets a little chaotic. It's easier to go out and grab some like food out, right? But if you had a big protein-packed breakfast and a snack in between lunch, generally you're just gonna eat whatever you planned. Cool? All right, when it comes to protein sources, we wanna focus on lean proteins. How many of you guys have ever picked up meats and compared different meats at the store based on leanness? A little bit. Something to pay attention to. Because you can wind up grabbing a cut of meat that is 96% lean. You can also pick up a cut of meat that is 80% lean. The total macros on that, very, very different. You're winding up with a lot more fat with option B than you are with option A. Not that you can't do that, but you do need to have that in your equation, all right? So focusing on lean proteins, chicken breast, turkey, egg whites, fish, all great options that tend to be lean. Obviously anything that is cooked a certain way, like fried chicken, now all of a sudden we have a whole other layer to think about, right? Delicious, different macro profile, right? Cool. So we have this awesome little guide, and all of you guys will have access to all of these little guides for like protein sources, carb sources, fat sources. I encourage everyone that we start with that's brand new to print these out, put them on their fridge. If you take them with you to, if you have them on your phone, you kind of base your grocery shopping trip around these lists, it makes life a lot easier. It also happens that most of these things tend to be in the same section, so organizing your grocery list by section of the store, super remarkable game changer if you tend to be a grocery list maker. If you don't make a grocery list, I would encourage you to do so. But these are some easy ways to make sure that you're prioritizing lean proteins over not so lean proteins. Obviously, you're gonna find some exceptions to some rules up there. You're gonna find, some like turkey sausage will actually land in that lean side, right? But the point is for you to pay attention to what you're actually grabbing, right? Cool. All right, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates get a bad rap. For sure, most people know carbs is like the thing that makes you fat. That's not true. It is, but it isn't, right? We need carbs. Carbs give us energy. They let us do the things that we want to do throughout the day. Prioritizing carbs from better sources, kind of key. So an easy way to think about it, you can kind of shoot for like low glycemic, less refined carbs, the better, all right? So we have a wonderful breakdown yet again of starchy carbs to choose from. You go low glycemic, moderate glycemic, and high glycemic. Essentially, you're just running through better options to worse options. It doesn't mean that you can't eat any of those things on the right. You should just probably not be going to the right for all of your carb sources throughout the day, all right? As far as how you're gonna feel eating them. Cool, all right. So we have starchy carbs and non-starchy carbs. What do you notice is the difference here? Non-starchy carbs tend to be what? Vegetables. Okay. Easiest way to differentiate between the two. All right. You can add copious amounts of non-starchy carbs to your diet, and it's a wonderful thing. Again, that's where you look at that plate method, half the plate being veggies, big deal. All right, healthy fats. Wrong page. Contrary to popular belief, fat doesn't make you fat. I'm sure you guys have heard that at this point. We're getting better at communicating that as like a country in media. Fat is not bad. Fat is very good. We need fat for our brain to function correctly. You need fat for most things in your body to function correctly. The key is balance. So fat is the most calorie dense of the 3 macronutrients. It weighs in at 9 kilocalories, so 9 calories per gram versus 4 calories per gram with carbohydrates and proteins. So just be aware a little bit of fat goes a long way. And choosing more plant-based sources of fat can be a good option. Avocado, olive oil. It's not a bad thing to get saturated fat by any means. It's just so much easier to get saturated fat in what you're already making that looking at supplementing that, usually not something you have to do. You hear the carnivore camp, there's plenty of people that are all like, just dump butter on everything and just don't eat any carbs. Probably not the best way to live your life in general. Yeah, so looking at some healthy fat sources. We've got almonds, avocado oil, Brazil nuts, cashews, chestnuts, chia seeds. see the list. These are all our green star options. Little note on nuts, it doesn't take very much to get what you need. Sometimes nuts kind of become like the trail mix, like I'm just gonna sit there and eat a bag full of these, and it's like, okay, maybe just a small handful or half a handful, and you've probably got all the fat that you need for that meal, right? We don't need to be snacking on nuts like they are M&Ms. Shouldn't be prioritizing either, but hopefully you guys get my point. Little goes a long way. Limit the added sugar. So we went over the pantry clean out process, making sure that we're avoiding purchasing it. That goes back to that making an effective grocery list, right? And not just keeping it in the house is the easiest way to avoid it. All right. The American Health Association suggests no more than 6 teaspoons of added sugar for women and no more than 9 teaspoons of added sugar for men. Guys, what's that? It's like 1 orange juice, 1 glass of orange juice. Do you remember like the little chart that we have for people?
Tablespoons of sugar.
Yeah, it's like
6 tablespoons of sugar for 1 glass of orange juice.
like a cup, like a cup, measuring cup size of orange juice. So sometimes people will go like, well, I drink juice. Juice is good. And it's like, squeeze your own, realize how many oranges go into making that much juice. And it's like, okay, I get it. Plus added sugar goes into most juices. So you go to a candy bar and look at the added sugar in that, and you are like 10xing this very quickly. So added sugar, we are not supposed to eat very much of it, but the average person consumes about 46 teaspoons daily. So we tend to overclock that quite a bit.
You say 9 teaspoons
For
for a man.
men.
6 teaspoons for a girl. Is that daily or is that
Daily.
So
Daily.
A 12 fluid ounce glass of orange juice equals 8 teaspoons of sugar or 32 grams of added sugar.
Mm-hmm.
A 12 ounce fluid ounce regular soda is 10 teaspoons or 39 grams of sugar.
Nice.
That's a lot.
Nice. And again, you got to think like if you're eating anything that's packaged, chances are there's added sugar in that. It's a flavoring thing, right? The American palate likes sweet. So we add a lot of sugar to a lot of things. So avoiding that as much as possible. Paying attention to food labels is probably the easiest way to avoid that. If you're eating mostly whole foods, this is probably not going to be a problem for you. That said, don't have a panic attack and like stop eating everything under the sun. We're trying to add one thing at a time here. You will gradually get yourself to that point. But sugar is a tricky one. All right. So challenge pillar, sleep. How many of you guys actually track how much sleep you're getting? Nice, nice, nice. Nope. Yeah, so. I do quite a bit. I was a weird kid, so at high school and college, I did a couple self-guided sleep studies. And so I've spent a lot of time tracking sleep and tracking how like sleep hygiene affects me personally. Sleep directly correlates to your body's ability to regulate hormone levels and blood sugar and recover, feel your best. Specifically related to performance, research shows that athletes may need additional hours for proper recovery, which is, if you can. Sleep is vital for hormone regulation and building muscle. We don't sleep enough, hormone regulation gets out of whack, inhibits our ability to lose weight, perform at our best, and build muscle. So if your goal is weight loss, muscle building, or performance, which is everybody's goal when it comes to nutrition, you need to sleep. If you're not sleeping, problems arise. It's why it's on that chart. If you struggle with sleep, I would encourage you to make that a habit to work towards, if not during this next 4 weeks, moving forward from here. So 35% adults report sleeping less than 7 hours a night. 7 hours is a good average minimum. Do any of you guys have a specific nighttime routine? Yeah? Yeah? How many of you go to bed at the same time every night? Within 30 minutes? Yeah? Okay. Okay. All right. You? No? Okay. All right. How many of you sleep in complete darkness? The room is blacked out. Very nice. Okay. Cool. How many of you sleep under 67 degrees? Under 67 degrees in the bedroom. Okay. All right. So those are all great things. Most people tend to struggle with their wind down routine, like actually preparing for bed and falling asleep. Building a routine for what you do before you go to bed is immensely helpful with that. So I would encourage you to think about that. How many of you struggle to actually fall asleep or stay asleep? Yep, there's more yeses in this room, I can already tell you, than are raising their hands right now. So how many of you have ever done something like box breathing or like a strategic type of breathing to manage your anxiety or stress? Okay, so box breathing is a cool little tool. We'll all do it together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna breathe in for 4 seconds. We're gonna hold our breath for 4 seconds, and we're gonna breathe out for 4 seconds, and then we're gonna hold that exhale for 4 seconds. We'll do a couple rounds of it. I'll keep you guys on pace on my timer. If I can get my timer to come up. Come on. There we go, yay, okay. So again, it's gonna be an in, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. You guys ready? Everybody in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Relax. There's 2 responses to that. Anytime I've ever sat through it, done it myself, whatever, when it's guided, you either really like it and you're like, man, I actually feel relaxed in like 2 breaths, or you start having an anxiety attack of whether or not you're actually keeping up with my count. Okay, so it is way better when it's self-paced and you're sitting there looking at a timer yourself and you can kind of relax into it. I'm usually anxious the first 2 or 3 breaths, and then by 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm actually considerably calmer. There's multiple approaches to like breathing strategies to reduce anxiety and calm yourself down. This one is a great starting point. Cool? Awesome. Great way to get yourself back to sleep if you tend to wake up in the middle of the night and can't fall asleep. Additionally, getting up and actually walking around for a little bit, leaving the bedroom, then returning back to the bedroom so you don't begin to associate your bed with not sleeping. Another good way to do that. You can walk around, do your box breathing, come back, try again. And if you are struggling to say what? Oh, 100%. That goes back to that, what's your sleep hygiene look like, right? So if you've got a screen that's on right up to the point where you're falling asleep, you're gonna definitely struggle with sleep quality, for sure. I saw like dramatic differences in like, I had a sleep tracker I used to use that would tell me like how long I was awake after I fell asleep if I had a screen on prior to that versus like reading with like a little reading light. And I have a reading light that doesn't have any blue light in it, so I don't get any like weird reflection back to me. And it's dramatically different. Like my sleep quality would be huge. We talked about like waking up after 7 hours of sleep and being like, that felt like 3, versus waking up after 7 hours of sleep and be like, I'm ready for the day. That, for me, that was the game changer there. Cool. All right. Let's keep rolling here. Stress. So when you have chronic stress, your body stays alert despite no danger. Over time, this puts you at risk for health problems, including high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, depression, anxiety, skin problems, like acne, and also menstrual problems. Ways that you can help manage your stress: practicing some form of meditation or breath work. Walking is probably the most simple approach to that. Seeing a mental health professional, of course, and journaling are all great options for managing stress. How many of you feel like you have good coping mechanisms when it comes to managing stress? Nice, good, awesome. We will throw many ideas your way during this challenge on how to do that. And if you do tend to struggle to fall asleep, chances are tying in one of those activities into your pre-sleep ritual, great way to go about starting to shut that down a little bit. exercise. Most of you guys in the room train here, so probably have a higher tick box than average. What we are going to be encouraging is 30 minutes of movement a day during this. So that doesn't mean that you now have to come to the gym 7 days a week, okay? But what that does mean is that we want intentional activity 7 days a week. Going out for a nice long walk can be a fantastic way to bring your stress level down, gets your body moving so you'll clear some waste from the previous workout that you just did, and it totally counts towards your movement, all right? So that's a great little piece of low-hanging fruit. This is a good time if you've been thinking about going from training in the gym 3 days a week to I want to train in the gym 4 days a week. I'd encourage you to do that during this time frame. Just be aware that you're going to be doing more training volume and you need to accommodate with that with recovery, right? Cool. All right. Very cool. So, habits. So for 4 weeks, we're going to be working on 4 habits: sleep, daily movement, stress, and watching educational videos. Those are all in blue. Then each week during this challenge, we're going to have a unique nutrition habit. That nutrition habit will gradually build on itself. So week 1, this week, you guys are going to be focusing on eating at least 1 cup of non-starchy veggies with lunch and dinner. So what were those non-starchy veggies? List that we pulled up earlier. You've got that list on your phone to pull from. So notice we're starting by adding a thing. I would encourage you to also play with eating that first, being a little bit more mindful of then moving into your dinner from there. See how that makes you feel. Pay attention to how full you feel if you eat at a little slower pace and starting with those veggies. Choice is yours. Choice is yours. Get at least a cup. I would, if you're in doubt, go a little more. You're not going to be in the wrong with that one. Yeah.
I think the only one that I would have a question about is spinach, because that one does fluctuate. That's the only one I can think of.
Sure.
It's a big flux.
Start with it if it was uncooked over a cup and then you cook it down. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. So try to think, if you think back to that visual with the plate method, does your veggie plate look close to that? Can we get at least a quarter plate of veggies for that? Would be a good way to think about this. Cool. If you're not used to eating a ton of veggies, sometimes people see the plate method and they're like, I'm gonna have a half plate of veggies every single meal, every single day. That's a lot more fiber than you've been getting in a long time. And I will warn you in advance, you're gonna spend a lot more time in the bathroom than you're anticipating. So starting with this is a great start if you tend to be like the 99% of Americans that barely eat any veggies. This is a great starting point. And it will build throughout this challenge. Plus, we have a bonus habit for you guys to check off in the app, and that's to post a picture of your pantry clean out. So actually go home, open up that food pantry, pull out the things you don't want to have in there, make sure nothing's expired. Go ahead and do that. Post a picture inside the HSN app of having done that, and then you can check that habit off and get a point for it. Cool? All right. So we'll get to the rest of the habits as we go through the challenge. Does not matter, this is a good point, whether that's lunch or dinner that you're getting those veggies added into, or breakfast. We just want at least 1 meal a day, okay, that you're getting those veggies in. So the habits for this challenge are meant to be easy so that you can build success. So we talked about that atomic habits concept. We're trying to layer on success on success on success. So if you were to get a cup of veggies at breakfast and then another cup of veggies at dinner, are you losing or winning? You're winning, right? Cool. All right, very good. So every week you'll have a simple mini challenge to help you stay accountable and have some fun. The mini challenges parallel what you're already doing with the habits that we selected. So each week we'll release a mini challenge. We'll give you guys all the details in the group chat. You guys already know what the week 1 is, that pantry clean out challenge. So I will remind you Monday, so tomorrow, that is due that week. Very cool. All right, speed up a little bit here. So non-scale victories. These are things that we tend to not pay attention to. If we're hyper-focused on weight loss, we can miss some of the perks that come with eating better, okay? Like, you are a lot more likely to continue to eat better if you also realize that you feel more energetic, that you're not just losing weight, but you actually feel much better. Maybe you get a blood panel done around the same time and find out that actually blood pressure was a little high or A1C was a little high. And as you continue to work on your nutrition, you start to see that stuff normalize and come back to baseline, which is fantastic. You might notice that without being intentional about anything, your sleep quality just gets better. Maybe you have a food sensitivity you're not aware of that's triggering you to have some problems. All kinds of things can happen outside of just what's going on the scale, all right? And please, if you notice any of those, share them. All right, so getting into the app. So everybody in here download the app? Cool. You will notice that you'll have a little leaderboard under the My Challenges note. You'll have daily videos that pop up on the top screen, and then you have your daily habits. So if you guys don't mind, go ahead and pull out your phone, open up that app. And those of you that are actually here, you get to click off the Attend the Kickoff Seminar habit. You should all see that on your main screen. There? Cool. We all got it? Go ahead and take that off. Very nice. You'll also see then the leaderboard for this challenge. Every time you hit one of those habits, you get a point. All right? Self-reporting. Sometimes people will go like, well, what if somebody cheats? Well, how much progress do you think that person's going to make? You are cheating yourself. All right? So I would encourage you to be as honest with this as possible so that you learn as much as you possibly can. Anyone who gets 28 points or more in a week will be in the running to win. The reason we do that instead of just maxing out the points as the person that wins for the week is we want you guys to be honest. And if you're putting forth your best effort, but you're not getting 100% of these tick marks done, but you're getting 80% of them done, that's fantastic. You're going to notice a change between now and the end of the 4 weeks. If you hyper-focus, which I've had people do, on points and obsess over how to maximize your point score, you are missing the point of doing this right now. The prizes and stuff, that's just there for extra accountability and just to have some fun, all right? Cool. We do have a private chat option with the coach and a group chat, so you'll be able to communicate directly with your nutrition coach. You'll see a little chat bubble at the bottom. And definitely encourage you guys, any of like the pantry clean out, stuff like that, post it in the group chat so we can all see it. It's a great way to help others stay motivated. You guys already shared your goals with each other, but there's a bigger group of you doing this than what is present today. So it'll be nice for that to all kind of be in one place and help us all stay engaged and excited about it. Cool. Fantastic. Everybody checked off their habit? Nice. Really quick, go ahead and pop in that group chat. Just hit a little thumbs up in there for me. Gonna confuse the crap out of everyone that didn't show up today. Just a thumbs up, no explanation, please. Very nice. Cool. Now, once you've sent that group chat, what I want you to do is click on that little chat bubble with your coach and send me something that you've learned so far today in that group chat, or sorry, in that private chat bubble. Just making sure you guys all know how to knock this out. Some of you are gonna be like, dude, this is easy. Others of you are gonna be like, can you show me where the private chat bubble is? All right, and that is totally cool. Just send me something you took away from today so far. So you're gonna notice, let everyone get that. Everyone good? Cool. You're gonna notice that you have a little calendar icon there. And, ooh, next one. No, I guess we don't have an image of that. You're gonna notice that you're gonna have a little calendar icon. What you're gonna be able to pay attention to there is what your consistency with your habits are. Success looks like 80% or higher. If we're not hitting 80% or higher, we're gonna be reaching out to you and figuring out with you how to help you get there. Because we want you to get the most out of this challenge that you can. Again, we don't wanna do that artificially. You don't wanna just go in and hit it, oh yeah, I totally did that today, while you're like not doing it, right? Is if you're struggling to get these things done, that's what we're here for. We're your resource to help you come up with ways to actually be successful in this process, right? Very cool. All right. If you're getting 80% completion, you'll be in the running for that prize every single week too. Cool. All right. Last little thing here, one of the last little things here, go ahead and drag that app icon. I know this is gonna sound whatever, and some people get really like holy with their home page, but the first page on your phone, if you drag that app icon to that first page, it will never be out of sight, out of mind. Cool. Alrighty, and with that, we've already addressed habit stacking. We've already addressed habit stacking. So what I would like you guys to take a second to do is to figure out when during the day you're gonna get in the app and actually check these things off. So what I would love for you guys to do is just take a couple minutes, I'll give you guys 2 minutes, and figure out what you're gonna stack this with. Maybe it's your pre-bedtime routine. I wind down 8 o'clock, all laptops are shut in my household, and it's time for us to just hang out, have dinner, relax, read, whatever that might look like. But for me, I would say 8 o'clock, when I hit my wind down, I'm going to open up my HSN app, check off the things that I've completed, and then be done. So we want to link this up with a habit you currently have. So move that to your home screen.
For the sleep, is it for the night before or is it that night?
For the night prior. Mm-hmm.
So the night sleep would be.
Correct. And use your best judgment. It says 7+ hours. If you get 6 hours and 59 minutes of sleep, you got 7 hours, okay?
And the educational video, is that different than the nutrition video?
Yeah, so there'll be different types of videos that'll come up. So the educational videos usually are talking about like the other holistic things that we look at, so sleep and stress management.
Those videos pop up.
They'll show up on that main page on the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll see anything for you to potentially do inside the app for the day. You'll see right there on that home screen with a thing that you can check mark off. And once you click on it, you'll see that video pop up and you'll be able to watch it. Cool. All right. Little FAQ section. Do I have to weigh or log my food? Absolutely not. I think that is one of the worst ways to get started unless you have done it before and have a good habit of doing it. That can be extremely stressful. We're trying to build the basics here. That said, we do have photo logging enabled for all of you. So if you would like to start learning how to get in the habit of some form of tracking, photo logging can be great. We just looked at the example of that plate method, right? Photo logging your food gives us stuff to look at to give you feedback on what you're eating. Cool? Good? Awesome. Do I have to eat starchy carbs? Aren't bad for you. Carbs are absolutely not bad for you. You should eat carbs, should eat starchy carbs. Does anyone have any questions on carbs? It doesn't seem like this is like a very like carb negative room right now. No, we are not worried about that. Macros, when you are eating 3 meals a day and 2 snacks and you're happy with how those are timed out and you're feeling good with it, but you want to get really into the weeds with it, then we dig into macros. That's a long process to get there. Jumping into macros super early right off the bat can be a great way to derail yourself really fast. Okay. Can I eat a sandwich? Absolutely. How could you eat something like a sandwich and make it fit the plate method? Sure. You can actually plate it up in your brain, or lay out, if you really need to, you could lay out the ingredients on a plate, right? But you can make that kind of stuff work. Now, you might be a little low on one thing or another when you actually deconstruct that sandwich in your brain and put it on a plate, then supplement that meal with something else to make it actually hit that plate method for yourself. So absolutely, you can eat a sandwich. You can also eat things in a bowl. Same concept, just deconstruct it onto a plate in your brain, right? And figure out what needs to be added, right? Cool. Are there any snack bars that you can have? Not all snack bars are created equal. You look at the nutrition label on some of these things, you can see that many protein bars are just candy bars with added protein. So glance at them, look at the added sugar, look at what else is there. If it's the only option for the thing that you can have for that day, there's absolutely some decent options. We have some back there, right? Should it be what you're eating all the time for every meal? Probably not. But if it's that, or I don't eat it all for 5 hours, then do that, right? Because you will have a much bigger fallout 5 hours later when you haven't eaten all day and you're like, I'm just gonna eat whatever, right? I mean, I've been there, I'm sure we've all been there. So snack bars, you absolutely can tinker with. We're not restricting what you're eating. I'm not here to tell you you can't eat ice cream or you can't eat cookies. We're here to layer on good habits and get you eating better. I don't love veggies, what do I do? It takes 20 times minimum of eating a new thing before you actually know whether you like it or dislike it. And how many of you have ever eaten dinner with a 3 to 5 year old? Okay, all right. Do they love everything that they're eating? No? Okay, right. How many times do they have to try it before they actually do start eating it, right? We're the same way. We think we're like high and mighty adults, right? We're not. We still need that time of like learning how to eat new things. Don't eat something that you're allergic to and be like, coach told me 20 times and I know. No, because you'll wind up in the hospital or with some pretty significant problems, all right? But if there's something that you have not liked in the past, try preparing it a little bit differently. Season it with something, cook it differently. There's lots of ways to get creative. Like Brussels sprouts can be prepared in about 70 different ways, okay? All right, and you can hate Brussels sprouts right off the bat, and then you have them one way, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, I can deal with Brussels sprouts, and it doesn't have to be the thing in your head that you're like, man, I hate that vegetable. Cool, you can write that vegetable down on a sheet and be like, I do not do this vegetable. Period. Great. There's 7,000 other vegetables for you to try. Okay, so I would just encourage you to get creative, experiment, broaden your horizons with what you can and cannot eat. I've seen people get real creative with veggies. There's about 78,000 things you can do with cauliflower and stuff like that. So get creative. Gradually start to enter that world. Can I still eat my favorite foods? Absolutely. I'll go back to my analogy of eat that giant bowl of broccoli first and then see how much ice cream you want to eat after that. Right? So if I use the plate method and I start with veggies, then I go to my proteins and finish with my carbs, and I'm actually intentionally eating, sitting down and eating, and then like I still have a tiny little bit of room left, I'm a lot more likely to scoop into a bowl ice cream rather than just grab the container of ice cream and sit and eat out of the container. Does that make sense? There's different ways to approach this stuff to keep balance in your life, right? So absolutely, you can still eat your favorite foods. Just make sure that you're structuring it as close to that plate method as you can. And I think you'll find that you eat considerably different total amounts. What happens after the challenge? So we did our initial goal intake, right? We'll do a follow-up with you, and we'll see how the things that we've done for the previous 4 weeks have impacted you. We did the holistic check-in. We did your initial weigh-in. So we'll have some really cool data. And we'll talk about next steps, how to move forward and continue making successful progress, whether that's with continuing with us as nutrition coaches or whether that's going solo for a little while. Point is the goal here is to set you up for success moving forward in this year. Cool? All right. How do I win? Get at least 28 points a week. You get put into the drawing. Cool. If you win, congratulations. We have some really cool prizes. Did you guys see the first week's prize. Okay, so how many of you like having your car detailed by somebody else, not you? Cool. So we've got a guy that his business started down the road. It's Shaq's Detailing. He'll do it's a $100 value detail of your vehicle. You can have him meet up with you anywhere. It's mobile, so you could be like, yeah, I'm gonna go work out at the gym at this time. Could you come and clean my car while I'm at the gym? And you'll show up with your car dirty, and you'll leave with your car completely detailed. So that's one of the first prizes. We also have Richmond Terry is our licensed massage therapist. If you've never used him before, he's phenomenal. I referred people out to him for about a year before I even met him because of the method that he uses with his massage stuff. This was about 10 years ago. But he is gonna be including a 30-minute sports massage into all 4 of the weekly packages. So you'll get him no matter what. You could show up for your massage with Richmond and have Shaq come detail your car and be done with your massage and roll right back out in a clean car, okay? We're also gonna be giving you guys whatever earth-fed muscle protein you want. So if we have it in stock, we'll give it to you right away. If we don't have the one that you like, we'll get it ordered for you and make sure that you have it. That's week 1. Okay, we'll also have a little goodie bag as well. I'm kind of getting some assorted stuff from some other people. But each week we'll have a prize. There'll be a main prize inside of that, coupled with the massage with Richmond and the earth-fed muscle protein. Cool. All right, pretty sweet. I think it's cool. I'd be excited about them. So yeah, complete your daily habits, watch educational videos, complete your weekly challenges, send pictures in the group chat, share recipes in the group chat, engage. Have fun with this. It's a great way to get started in the right direction with your nutrition, guys. Thank you. Any